Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you've had a fantastic weekend. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing obviously what is going on in Whistler, Canada with Harry and Meghan arriving for the Invictus Games. Make sure I get that right. So if you want to join me in this discussion, where my name is Ems and I'm a qualified UK therapist, and I use my nearly 20 years experience of being in this field where I've studied body language, behaviour, not just what's being said, but sometimes what's not being said, reading between the lines. And I also use my personal opinions because, believe it or not, I'm not a therapist 24/7 and my personal opinions at times might differ. Well, if this is the channel for you, well, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss future uploads. Grab your cuppa, sit back, relax while we dive into truth, analysis and tea. So I hope you've all had a fantastic weekend, whatever you were doing. Thank you to everyone who wished my dad a happy birthday. That was really, really kind of you. I did show him some of the messages. He was really made up. Bless him, he's old school. And he's like, oh, these people know it's my birthday. And I was like, yes, Dad, I told them. And he was like, oh, that's nice. So he said to say thank you to all of you. So, and from me, thank you as well. So yes, they have arrived in Canada and eco-friendly. You know, Harry, who goes and bangs on about how we should all be eco-friendly. Let's just look at this. Took a private jet and a 3-car convoy. Yeah, so that's at the start. So before we get into anything else, we have the fact that eco-friendly Harry, who likes to preach to everybody else about being eco-friendly, doesn't do the same thing. And this is categorically, in my opinion, one of the problems with Harry and Meghan is the fact that they do not do what they want or expect us muggles to do. It's like, no, you need to be eco-friendly, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, but we're not going to do it. And this is part of the problem. Not all of it, but part of it. And we have seen this time and time again with this, you need to care about people, you need to respect people, you need to look after family, but we're not going to do that. We're going to trash our family publicly. We're not going to give two hoots about anybody. We're just going to use whomever we can, what bandwagon we can jump on, whose celebrity name I can drop to get what we want. But gosh, you can't do the same thing. So yeah, there's an awful lot of that going around. Obviously, the cult squad are out in droves. Again, on my FYP page on TikTok and Instagram, it's all, well, actually it's mainly TikTok. Instagram is a little bit more balanced, but it's like, it's almost as if what I've noticed, and I don't know if you guys, if you are on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, I'm not on Twitter, but I'm wondering if it's a similar thing where whenever there is something that they do, it's almost as if there's an insurgence of bots, and it feels to me like that's what it is. So and I've come to also learn about something that's called my brain. I want to say terraforming, but it's not terraforming. Oh goodness, what's the name? Right, well, my brain, I cannot remember it. I literally had it, should have written it down. And I might even remember it as I'm talking along, but I'll put it up here because I will go and look at it. And it's a term I've heard of, but not in association with this. So apparently there's 2 types of situations that can happen. And I've learnt this after following the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively case. So there's bots, and apparently, so bots are fake people. So, you know, and you can tell a lot of the time that these people are fake. And you obviously, some people can buy fake followers, and they will use those. And a lot of celebrities actually do this. And I suppose even a lot of influencers do it. I don't really see the point, especially because it's views that, especially on YouTube, it's views that matter, not it's not subscribers. I mean, they matter, but they don't matter in the monetary sense. So you can buy as many bots as you like, but it makes zero difference to views because bots don't view anything. So when you're looking at ad revenue, and even with the fact that YouTube will not count those. So say, for example, with me being at the stage I am on YouTube now, if say 30% of those or whatever was bought, when it got to 100,000, you'd see that I didn't get my plaque. And that's because there's bought bots in a sense. So YouTube will only associate real people, so to speak. So this is what the bot system does. And these, we know there's bot farms. We know, we've learned that from this situation with Harry and Meghan and obviously Mr. Boozy. And what these are real people that are also bought. So there's a real accounts that are bought, but they're used specifically for targeting. So for example, with Harry and Meghan out and about in Canada, I've noticed that there seems to be a lot of accounts that interact, but actually they have got 0 followers, very little minimal interaction, but they still interact. See, bots don't necessarily interact. They do a generic post, they do a generic comment, but these other type interact, and they're specifically bought for that reason. And I've noticed that. I have noticed that when Harry and Meghan do something, it's like there's this insurgence of fans that seem to come out of nowhere, that suddenly start latching onto your posts or doing posts of their own. And I have noticed that with this Canada trip, there's a huge amount. They're everywhere. And then after they do that, it goes quiet and we don't really hear too much. And then it does it again, and so on and so on. So I do think that there's an element of that going on with Harry and Meghan, where they have paid they've paid a PR team to do this what I'm talking about, to drive traffic to giving them maximum attention. Now, this isn't unusual. It happens in the world of celebrity, but I think it does show you, in my opinion, that I don't believe they have as many fans as what they sort of ascertain that they have. And again, I always say you've only got to look at her Orchard Riviera when that first came on the scene. For quite some time, she struggled to get just above 500,000, which are still okay and a fair amount. But when you look at even some influencers have got well over millions of followers, and considering who she is, that I think shows you that she doesn't have a huge fan base. And then interestingly, when she then did her Meghan one, that has now crawled up to 1.6 million. And I can absolutely guarantee you that most of those are possibly either bot accounts or they're these type of people that I've just told you about. So obviously scrolling through, trying to filter out the super positive that make any excuse for any type of behavior that she does, and Harry. There's a couple of things that I noticed off the bat straight away. Was one, the silly selfie thing that she did with Nelly Furtado. Again, it is this latching on to some kind of celebrity. I mean, I'm not a fan of Nelly Furtado, but I like her. I've not seen anything about her that I don't like. And actually, I have liked a few of her songs. And she's, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, and I will obviously look at this, but I'm sure that I did look it up, and she is Canadian. But I believe that's all we've seen them with. When you had Coldplay, Chris Martin stand up, unless I didn't hear the clip, I only heard him mention Harry. But the other thing as well was when they turned up on the golf buggy. I mean, I'm sorry, but firstly, it almost looked as though those people were there under duress. I mean, there was a few people clapping, but most people were just like not particularly interested. And They were just chanting Harry, Harry, Harry. And I just thought, oh, that is not going to go down well with her, because we all know how she likes to monopolise and capitalise on a maximum attention and it being about her. But I'm just going to show the clip here so you can see exactly what I mean. It's deeply cringy, because why did it's not like it was a long queue, right, a long row of people, but this shows you the entitlement of these two. And why not get out, walk along and thank everybody and talk to these people, instead of acting as though you are something you're not, on a golf buggy, just riding through, just waving at people. It's like, and this is what I mean. This is what angers me, is this acting as though you are royalty when, okay, name only Harry is a prince and she married a prince, but they pick and choose when they decide to actually do anything that's relevant. And the fact that, again, they're there to highlight veterans, highlight disabilities. The two people that have legs chose to go on a buggy, not grasping how insensitive that looks or could look. Because that's the first thing I thought of. I thought, well, one, why on earth are you not getting out and walking along and speaking to these people, thanking them for turning up, spending a bit of time with them? Why are you not doing that? And even if that isn't the case, why on earth have you chosen to get on a buggy when you've both got legs and you're literally there to highlight disabilities, where a lot of these people have got, that are in wheelchairs, or, and I'm really not saying this because I think people in wheelchairs are less than, or any of those things. I'm saying this in reference to those two being really insensitive and tone deaf to the situation, because I'm pretty sure that any of those people are going to think, I would love to be able to walk and get out and do those things, but I'm not able to now for whatever reason that's happened to me. And these two, instead of thinking, actually, that's not the best way to approach this, let's just get out and walk and visit the people. But no, we can't possibly visit the muggles. We cannot be seen touching unless there's cameras, unless there's something, because that's beneath us. So that was one of the first things that really angered me. And of course I made a comment on TikTok, and of course that, the cult squad were out and pounced, and it's just like, oh, you're just a hater, you're just a Karen. They literally have a tick list. I'm sure they probably have it right next to their computer or their phone or whatever it is, and when someone comments about a negative comment, it is hater, tick, Karen, tick, racist, tick, you're jealous, tick, you wish you'd married Harry, tick, no, you're just jealous of Meghan, tick. And, and I'm just like, just because you think it doesn't make that true, because it really isn't. And yeah, so then the other things that were being picked up on that I sort of noticed was, there was an incident where, and it's been brought up in the media, which I am pleased about, because at the end of the day, I'm so sick of the sycophantic media just not calling them out on things. I mean, and let's be honest, again, no children, but are we surprised? Because of course there was all these little rumours scurrying around of, oh, they're going to bring the children, that'll be so lovely. Come on now. At this point, when did they leave? Was it 2020? We're now 5 years. And no one has seen an actual proper video that's not been edited or black and white or sepia or the back of their heads. No one has seen these children as like what we see with the Prince and Princess of Wales as children. And yet nobody in the mainstream media questions this, the fact that they seem to be always away from their children, young children, by the way, that we are being told they have, which, as I've said, I don't believe they do. When we saw that Instagram video of Meghan, there was just not a shred of evidence to show that that house has children living in it. No pictures, no toys lying around, no nothing. And the fact that she was surprised about a lunchbox, as if she doesn't know what a lunchbox is. I think, you know, they just do little things that to me show that they just do not have children there. So yeah, so this thing that I saw, which was brought up in the dailyroyals.com or whatever it was that she's been criticised for moving somebody's wheelchair. And so I watched the footage, and so here I'm going to show you again. So here is the footage, so you can see that. And of course you've got Harry goofing around like he does, because Harry just seems to do this for some unknown reason. But again, I think, like I've said before, it shows his emotional immaturity, because I really do feel that he has arrested development. And whilst he's doing that, Meghan just literally takes this woman's wheelchair and pulls it back. And now I don't know what the woman is saying, but it does look to me as if she was almost a bit surprised by it, as if she wasn't particularly happy. I mean, you guys let me know what you think. But then she does it again. And I'll show you. Now, I almost missed this, but it was like the corner of my eye. It was like I just sort of saw it and thought, she did it again. I don't know the time frame. I don't know whether she did this before or after this particular incident, but she did it again to this man when he was in his wheelchair. And watch this one here as well. So there you have two incidences where she moves somebody's wheelchair. And again, this shows you how tone deaf, how ignorant that she is, because a wheelchair to another person is an extension of who it's the same thing as moving a person out of the way. That's literally the same thing. And we all know that she enjoys doing that, because the amount of times we've seen her elbow move somebody out of the way to get through to something, move Harry out of the way. So that shows you that she doesn't care about somebody else's boundaries. But I think the fact is that she moved these two people because it was convenient for her and not them. And I think that the guy notices as much as I think the other woman noticed, but it just doesn't really get said, apart from, like I say, on the Daily Royals, it was mentioned. But again, it shows you how she doesn't have that empathy or foresight into thinking this is not the right thing to do. And what I need to do is, even if you're like, she's trying to squeeze behind by the looks of it to get the photograph, to say to the person, would you mind? There's not a lot of room. Would you mind if you could move forward just a fraction? To which case then I'm sure that they would have done. But she doesn't. She just takes it upon herself to move them forward. And you can see she does it because the wheelchair moves forward and his hands are not on the wheels to move it forward. So, and you see her arms move down, and I've slowed it down so hopefully you can see it because it just is caught slightly to off camera. But you can, to me, you can see it. I mean, unless you guys think I'm wrong and I'm reaching and I'm looking for something that's not there, then please, obviously tell me and I will re-look at it again. But yeah, so there's lots of this, but there's so many moments that I've seen where Harry just looks uninterested. And I don't know if any of you guys noticed, but she's now doing this where she's leaning on him. That is mirroring how the Princess of Wales is, Catherine, to when she's sort of with William. She does this a lot. She sort of leans on his shoulder and she does that a lot. We don't really ever see Meghan doing that, but for some reason she has started doing this. And when they were obviously at the opening ceremony and the camera panned onto them, watch Harry's face. And I'm going to put the footage up here and I'm going to show you because I've slowed it right down so you can see he is disinterested in her. So you can see just by that footage how it's like he knows he's got to do it for show. And she knows, and even though she tries to save face because that's what she does, she just grins to make it seem as if, you know, everything's fine. But to me, you've only got to look at her eyes. She knows what Harry's doing and she knows that there's a slight uncomfortableness where she knows. And she knows it's also been caught and she's possibly thinking this is going to get picked up on. But she's there grinning. And you see this a lot with her. And this is how you know that things are fake as well. Because her grinning doesn't match what's going on. It's like if you'll see footage where other people are just looking just normal, looking out into the crowd, looking out and watching what's going on. And there's a lot of people all doing that. And she's there like this, like literally with this big grin. But nobody else is. And she's not really talking to anyone. She's just, and it's so contrived. And it looks so almost psychotic, the way that she's doing this. And again, that shows you that she's just ready and waiting for the camera to be on her. And then there's other elements that show her, and this was one of the things that I also picked up on, is when she's talking to people, like when she's doing her meet and greet. And again, and I'm just going to say, and again, this has literally been about them. There's very little that I have seen that has showcased the veterans, people with disabilities, they've had photo ops, but there's not really been any conversations that I've seen. I might be wrong. It might be that I've just not seen it, but I've Googled and tried to see, and there's just been hardly anything. It has literally been about those two doing meet and greets, getting photos taken. And this again is what angers me and why it is now getting the name Invictus, because that is really what this is about. They are using the Invictus games to behave as if they're working royals, and they're not. And so you see Meghan at times, like she's talking to people, but watch how when she's in the middle of talking, she doesn't even finish the sentence before she looks away from them, goes to somebody else, or if someone's there with a camera, she's like, oh, take a selfie, mid sort of like sentence into talking to somebody. She sort of just tails off and just doesn't even finish the conversation. And again, I will show you because you know I like to bring the facts, not just hearsay. So here we have the footage of her doing this. And I think, like I've said, it just shows you really who she is. You know, there's a couple of instances where there's a slip of the mask, and somebody else caught this. I saw this on TikTok. Somebody else caught this, and I think you can see their name on the video footage. So I don't want to take credit for that, because I didn't spot this footage until I saw it on their TikTok. And you can see classically how she switches. She's like, she looks at Harry. There's almost this disdain for Harry, and then she glances up, sees someone holding a camera, and flick switch. The grin goes on, the performance goes on, and it is literally, you literally see the click to click of this, the mask slip, and then she's like, oh, performance. And that's very, very telling. So yeah, so let me know what you think in the comments. You know, this isn't the only video I'm going to be doing. This is just kind of what I've been seeing so far. I'm sure they're there for quite some time, so I'm sure there's going to be lots of other things that are going to be coming up, and this is going to be monopolizing the media for some time, of course. But yeah, so to let me know what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have your own thoughts and opinions on this? Because I always love to read what you are talking about. I know some of you have asked me to look into the "you said" thing. I am looking into this at the moment. So because I want to make sure that when I come on and say anything, it is going to be that I'm coming with facts and not just hearsay. So yeah, I'm struggling to find some information at the moment. So if any of you have anything, like you can see, because obviously I'm not in the States, please email it to me so I can have a look at it, and then I can do a video on it and do a little bit more, sort of a deep dive into it. But yeah, so thank you so much as always for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you do not want to miss future uploads. Subscribing is free, so for those of you who seem to get a little bit confused between the subscription and the membership, you can join up as a member. So depending on which one you join up, please don't forget to email me to let me know that you have, if you've become a member, and also what your YouTube handle is, because then I can see what membership you have. Yeah, but subscription is free. So thank you so much to the people that I've got another lovely headband. Someone bought me a headband from my Amazon wish list. As you all know, I love my headbands. And so this is another one. So thank you so much. I love it. And you can also treat me to a cuppa if you want to. Again, not necessary. As I always say, please look after yourself first and foremost. Don't forget to head across to TandT. The link to that will be the end of this video. Just click on the circle. There's also the subscribe button at the end of this video as well. So just again, click on the circle to TandT, and that will take you straight through to subscribe. But TandT, they're shorter videos, 5 to 10 minutes long. And if you want those type of videos, they are going to be over there. And I think that's it. So I will see you in the next video. And as always, I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Take care. Bye-bye. Mwah.